Good morning.
Good morning.
Pretty sure it's pretty darn close to 10. So my name is Denise Roberts, and I've been canning for over 35 years. Started out with my mom, my grandma, and my girls, and we were just doing a lot of canning. So it was really fun to learn from them and get stuff going. And I was with a program where we got a lot of food, and I had to learn how to preserve it. So I tried a few things and took some classes. So today I'm going to cover some of the stuff like that I had to learn how to do. And so when you first get your food, if you're just going to use it pretty soon, refrigeration's basics, it's going to kind of stop things from turning bad sooner. When you're freezing your vegetables and your fruit, you can do it a few different ways. What's nice is like strawberries, you can wash them and like put them on a cookie sheet and then freeze them that way so they're individual, and then put them in bags when you're finished, because then when you take them out you can thaw out as many as you want rather than have a blob of strawberry mess, unless that's what you want. So, but it's good to do it that way. Always wash your vegetables and your fruit before you do that, and trim them up so they're really nice and clean and good quality product when you freeze it. If you're going to do that, you can use the other stuff for your chickens or whatever you want to do. If you've got vegetables like green beans or anything that you want to freeze, if you blanch them first, so it's just dipping them in hot water for 2 to 7 minutes depending on what your vegetable you have, it keeps the color and it also helps lock in some of the nutrients, and then you can freeze it after that. So that's a really good way to do your vegetables. To me, frozen fresh corn is the best. Super good. If you've got your pecan trees and stuff with nuts, also freeze them. They'll go rancid just sitting out. So if you put all the nuts in the freezer, walnuts, whatever you have, they're going to last a lot longer, and they'll be really good for you to have. So that's a good way to preserve those also. Another thing that I've done when I had the chickens with far too many eggs, you can freeze the eggs. So what I did with my large amount of eggs that I had, I would mix them up like scrambled eggs, and I would put them in ice trays, the big enough ones. So it worked out like every egg was one ice cube. So you'd freeze those, and I'd pop them out, and then I would just put them in the freezer. When you need them, I would just take them out and put the cubes just in a bowl in the fridge to let them thaw out. When you cook them, honestly, you can't tell the difference between a fresh scrambled egg and a frozen scrambled egg. So if you have way too many, you can do that with them. And I did that. In mine, I did them for like about 6 months and they were still fine, but by then I'd used up what I had, and so I didn't need to do that anymore. So longevity, I don't know anything past that, but that worked really well for me with lots of eggs that I had. Dehydrating is another amazing way to preserve your food. So you can dry them in the sunshine, works just fine. For eons, people have done that with squash and pumpkins and just sliced them and hung them out on a line and dried them and used them all winter. So you can do that. The dehydrator that I've had it for like 30 some odd years, and it's just warm air. It's not fancy, it doesn't have temperatures. It's one temperature and that's it. And you really don't need the fancy stuff. I've dehydrated most everything. Anything that I've done whole meals. I've made like vegetable lasagnas and dehydrated that. If I cook rice, I can dehydrate it, and then it's easy to rehydrate and a lot quicker for fixing. If you're going camping, you're doing something that you need quick food for, it's already cooked, and that works really well. Your herbs, you can do fruit leathers, and I didn't put anything in the fruit. I just blended up the fruit and put it on trays in there and just on parchment paper, and then when it's done, while it's still warm, we'll just roll it up. And I had stuff for 6 years that I forgot that I had, and it was still delicious. It doesn't go bad, they just stay forever. I can't tell you the nutritional value on something that's like 7, 8 years old, but it's still there and you can still use it. When you're dehydrating your vegetables, especially if if you've got onions, celery, something you're going to use later, carrots. Put one onion aside in your dehydrator so that you know how much one onion is, because I did a bunch of celery. One stalk of celery is 1 tablespoon. So if you're going to make soup and you grab a handful of dried and throw it in a pot, you're going to have celery soup. It's just, they dehydrate because they're mainly the water, and it's going to be really celery-y. So I do that with the onions, how much a dehydrated one is. So I'll write that. Everything I store is in canning jars. I just do because I have them. I like the way it lasts longer than the plastic, even the air seal stuff. I don't have Mylar, so I don't know how that one does, but the jars last forever. And the humidity doesn't get them. It works really well. So do write on there how much one onion is, 1 celery, 1 carrot. If you dice them up, you can even buy a package of frozen mixed vegetables, throw it on your dehydrator and dehydrate it, and you're done. So you can do that if you want to have that type of stuff on hand. I've done lots of bananas. Your grapes will be lovely raisins. The smaller ones, if you can. The big ones, you can do it. Might want to slice them in half because they will take 3 days to dehydrate. They take a long time, but they're delicious because you know what's in them. There's no sulfur on them. There's nothing that anybody put on it but just fruit. So those are really good. And just know that if you dehydrate apricots, peaches, it's not going to taste like the stores. They're not going to be really soft and squishy because you're not putting anything on it. They're dehydrated and they're harder, but they're good for you and delicious. Also in the dehydrator, meat. You can make jerky, and you can dehydrate any meats, take them camping, whatever you want to do, mix them in soups. I've bought the spiral cut hams and done that, dehydrated that, goes great in soups. It's really good. Jerkies, any kind of stuff that you want to do that one. My favorite jerky is hamburger jerky. So you take the hamburger, you put your same seasonings in it that you would to make a jerky. They have a thing, it's called a jerky press. It really literally looks like a caulking gun that you squirt the hamburger mixture out, put that on a tray. You put it in your oven at 175 for 3 or 4 hours, and it'll do the same thing. But I just put it in the dehydrator. What I'll do on my dehydrator is in the daytime, once I start it, I usually do 24 hours, and before I go to bed at night, I rotate the trays so they're the ones that were farthest away from the fan are now closer to it. But if you haven't tried the jerky made from hamburger meat, it's amazing, and you don't have the sinew, you're not ripping it off, and it's delicious. So that's another really good one. Even for dehydrating some vegetables, it's good to blanch them. Your potatoes, if you want to have potatoes and make mixes for scalloped potatoes, whatever you want to do, you really have to blanch them, because if you just slice them and dehydrate them, they turn this really ugly color black. They don't taste bad if you can just close your eyes when you eat, but blanch them first and they turn out beautiful. And they're great, and you can make mixes. Yes, ma'am?
Did you say 175 in the oven for the meat?
Yeah, in your oven.
Okay.
It's just pretty much the lowest heat, and you can not this time of year, but in the winter, leave it cracked a little bit, and it'll just keep moving the heat through there, and
Okay.
yeah. Yes.
I'm growing watermelons, but they're not going to be ready when they're supposed to. Will they still taste okay?
Dehydrated?
Watermelons?
Yeah.
I planted them recently, but are they still going to be good when I pick them, even though they're not going to be ready the time where they are?
I guess I don't understand the question. Are you dehydrating them, or are you just eating them fresh?
Just eating them fresh.
Dehydrating?
Hydrating? Will they taste better that way?
I have dehydrated watermelon, and it was awful. I tried cantaloupe, and I really didn't like it either. So I wouldn't. I tried it. I didn't like it. So
I cut them down. Will they still be good when I pick them, even though I didn't cut them up?
Yes, I think you still have plenty of time for your watermelons to mature out.
Okay, thank you. That's all. That's what.
oh, okay. Got it. Yes. Just leave them. A lot of stuff will ripen up just sitting there. So, okay. So, let's see. Oh, when you blanch your stuff, if you blanch it before you put it in there, you're gonna put it in the hot water, boil it, and then you're gonna put it in some ice water, and that'll like stop the cooking process. And that'll just, before you dehydrate it or any of the other stuff that you're gonna do with it. It's really great to have the dehydrated stuff for soups that you're gonna make in the winter if you just have one thing and you just need vegetables that you don't have. I have jars in my cupboard with celery and carrots and onions and garlic, and if you want to make your own garlic powder or your own onion powder, just dehydrate some and then put it in your little coffee grinder thingy, and you have your own onion powder and your own garlic powder and whatever it is you want to make with it. So that works out really good. Then we have water bath canning. So water bath canning is mainly good for your jams, your jellies, applesauce, your different fruits that you can do. I've done pie filling, so I'll just do the whole thing for a pie filling with cornstarch, with everything that you need. So all you have to do is open the jar and plop it in a pie filling, your pie pan, and you're done. It's already finished. So that's always really nice to have. It's for foods that are high acid. So anything that doesn't have a low acid, like your meats and stuff, you have to pressure can those. So water bathing is for specific things. Back in the day, my grandma used to can tomatoes water bath canning. I cannot do that anymore. The varieties are new, they're sweeter, and the acid content isn't what it used to be. So you really should pressure can them or put an acid in it. So you're going to use vinegar, citric acid, something in that to bring up the acid content. So you just have to be careful with that. We canned a whole bunch of it, and then there was this lovely smell coming from the pantry, and they'd all exploded. So it wasn't pretty. You have to really pay attention. And there's people who do canning, and they have a lot of things in the online that'll say, "Hi, I'm a rebel canner." Please don't do that. We don't want you to go away. So it's just a lot of stuff they do hasn't been tested. And I'm only going to tell you about stuff that's been tested through the universities, through the USDA, ball canning. All those people who test it a lot, they change all of their stuff every year based on the varieties of food that we have now. They're not the same as what grandma had. So you might have your grandma's recipe, which would be delicious, but look at the way it's canned now. Because they're different, unless you're using all heirloom stuff that you know the acid content. So I would just rather you're safe. So be safe. And if it's ball canning, their cookbook they come out with every year, because every year is different, and they test them all throughout the year so they know what's safe and what isn't, because we want you to be safe. And I want you to be safe. So be really careful with those. When you do your water bath canning or any canning, you store the jars without the rings on them. Take the rings off. The reason you're going to do that is if for some reason it unseals, if you have the ring on it, if it's someplace that's going to warm, it might feel like it's going to reseal, and now it's not safe for you. So always take the rings off and never stack them on top of each other. Just be really safe with that. I have like a ribbon with the rings on them, and they'll just hang there off to the side, and I'll use them when I need them and I open a jar. But don't stack them, and then always when you open stuff, look inside. Does the rim look good? Do you see any mold? Is anything black in there? Does anything not look good? Just don't. Your life isn't worth it. Please be safe. It was just a canning. It's not worth you getting sick and going to the hospital, or worse. So be really safe with your canning. I've never had any that I felt like I had to throw away, but if the seal was broken, just toss it. It's no big deal. It's all a learning. So if you see something, yes, sir.
How do you determine if the seal is broken?
So when you're water bath canning, you're taking your jar, whatever, you're going to put it in the hot water bath, and it's going to go, most of the stuff's 10 minutes. It doesn't take long. And when you take it out and you set it on a rack to cool, you'll hear the pop. So it's when the seal pops on your canning jar. It's a happy sound when you hear it go, oh, another one popped. So it's always fun when that happens. But when you go to check it and you touch that top, and it's not still down, it's popped. Don't eat it. If you go to the grocery store, you have a jar of pickles, whatever, there's a little indent in the top of that, it better be down. If you find one in the store that can go pop, 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 no, don't. That's the same process. When you're, when you start canning too, you're always going to really check your jars for any cracks, anything in it. So get your finger and put it around the top of it. See if you feel any cracks, dents. Look in the, see if you have any cracks in there. Just don't use them. If you can't make yourself throw it away, put some pencils in it or something and decorate it for something else, or put flowers in it, but don't use it.
How long can the canned stuff stay good?
I have some 8 and 9-year-old stuff that I will still eat, so I don't know, but probably.
Like eating stuff, usually stuff, how long should we?
Probably 2 or 3 years would probably be what most people would be comfortable with.
Okay.
You do you. I have some stuff that it's like jellies and stuff, it's not going to go bad, so I'm not worried about it. But it will change color. So if you have some jars of jelly that you canned that used to be a pretty bright red because it was strawberry, now it's darker and it changes color. But it's the same thing with something you bought in the store. If you bought like apricot jam in the store and it was this really pretty color, after a few years when you can't find it and you found it in the back of a shelf, it's not that color anymore. Things will discolor after a while, so a lot of it's more visual than anything else. It tasted the same, but visually it wasn't as attractive, so yeah.
So once you can, where do you need to store your canned goods at? I know, like, we used to put stuff in the cellar, my grandmother did.
All of this stuff says in a cool, dry place. So if you don't have somewhere like a basement, whatever, in the back of a cupboard. Or I have found that what's really good is under your bed. You can put them in the box they came in and slide that whole box under your bed and they fit just perfectly under there. And normally your house is cooler and drier and dark and it's not in the sunlight, so that worked out perfect for me. So you could, but once it's canned, there's no need to do that. It's just like you bought a can of corn in the store, you don't have to store it in your house, in your fridge. So when you're canned, it's shelf stable at that point. So water bath canning is just putting your stuff in the jars. You're cooking your jellies, whatever you're going to put in there. Put them in your canning jars. You're going to put on. I put the flats in some boiling water first, and that to me is just getting the rubber seal a little bit softer. And then I'll just take some tongs, put that on top of the jar, wipe the jar down, put that on, put the ring on, and then you just set it down in your water bath when it's boiling, your canner. And if you don't have a canner with the rack on the bottom, don't put your jars on the bottom of the pan, because it's a different heat. So if you can take a bunch of rings and like put them together and set them on top of those, or a little rack in the bottom so they're not actually on the bottom of the pan, you can can them in not a canner, but just boiling water. So the water needs to be about 1 inch above your jars, and then just do it. Most of them are 10 minutes, but you need to look up your recipe for what you're making. The bigger jars may take a little bit longer. I haven't went with fruit. It hasn't been that way. And then when they've done with their 10 minutes, you're just going to take the grabbers, take them out, set them on a rack, and just let them cool. You're going to just set them there overnight, and as you wander around the house, the lids will pop when they seal, and it'll make you happy. So, and that's all you have to do. And then when they've cooled off, make sure you write on the top of them what they are and the date, so you know what it was and when you did it, and then just put them away. Take the rings off of them at that point. The next, after 24 hours or so, probably even 12 would be fine. But just take the rings off, and then your stuff is shelf stable. So you can do that. Then for pressure canning is all the stuff that has a low acid. Your meats, if you're going to make sauces, soups, whatever you're going to do with that, it needs to be done in a pressure canner. I would not recommend the Instapot things or the other devices, because I have not seen the universities or Ball or the USDA approve that for canning. So I know their companies may say it does. I'm just gonna not gonna push that one. So your meats and stuff, it's the same thing. If you're gonna do meat, roast, pork butts, whatever you want to do, you just chop up the raw meat. Chicken, I do whole chicken. The chicken, I'll take the hindquarters, just do the leg and the thigh apart, just jam it in a jar. It's not cooked, it's raw. For the pints, it's a quarter teaspoon of salt. The quarts, it's a half a teaspoon of salt. That's it. Wipe the top off of it, put your flat on it, put your ring on it, and that's it. You put it in your pressure canner, and all the canners, always check the seal. There's a rubber gasket around there. Make sure that that's not getting dried or cracked. Just order a new one. If it has a gauge on it, at the extension office out at the fairgrounds, Kim can check the gauge to make sure that your gauge is right. Mine has weights on it, so actually mine has both, but with the weights on it, this area is over 1,500 feet. I live in Holly and it's 17. So you're gonna need 15 pounds of pressure, just 15 pounds of pressure. That's the highest you can go. So do that. I'm pretty sure Abilene's probably about the same. So 15 pounds of pressure. What you do is you get all your jars in there, you just let the vent open, and it is gonna take a long time. This is not a short process. It may take 45 minutes, an hour before that gets hot enough to send that steam out the top, and then you're going to put your weight on it, and then you have to wait till it gets enough to that starts rocking and making the little noise with its rocking, and that may be another 45 minutes or so. So at that point is when you start your timing process. Pints are usually 65 minutes, and the quarts I think are 60 and 75. So, but look up what you're doing specifically, what your meat is, what your recipe calls for that you find. And then once the timer's done, turn off the heat and walk away. There's a little vent that pops up. You have to wait till that goes down. Plan another hour, hour and a half before that goes down. Then you're going to take your weights off. There would be no more steam left in there because it's all vented out. And then you'll take the top off. It is still very, very hot. So just take the jars out, set them on the rack, let them cool down. 24, just let them cool off. All the lids will pop down. If for some reason something doesn't seal, you can put it back put it in the fridge, put on a new one. But if you want to reprocess it, you have to do the entire time again, or have it for dinner, because it's already cooked. It's completely cooked at a high pressure. You can do, I've done lots of soups, stews, carrots. Carrots and beans also have to be in the pressure canner because they don't have enough acid in them. Beets, potatoes, pumpkin, sweet potatoes. So you cannot do mashed potatoes or mashed pumpkin. We can't. We can't get it hot enough for that center to get hot enough and cooked enough. The companies can. They got special whatever. But we can't. So if you want to, you can do cubed potatoes because it's got the water in it and that's going to heat it up, or cubed pumpkin, and then just use that and mash it when you're finished.
What does cube mean?
What is what? Cubed. Make them into little squares.
Oh, okay.
Cut them into little squares, and then put them in there so they're small enough that the water gets around so you get hot enough to be safe. I've also canned hamburger meat, but you cook it first. So it's completely cooked. Same thing, quarter teaspoon in a pint and half teaspoon. And, well, I did the seasonings with the hamburger and I put it in there. And then you're just gonna, I put beef broth in it, just as a little bit of liquid in there, since it's not gonna make any. So I just put the hamburger meat in, and 1 pint is actually 1 pound of burger. So once it's cooked up, drain off the fat, put your cooked hamburger in there, beef broth, so you still have an inch of head space, put your top on it, and then you're gonna pressure can that also. It's great. It's pre-cooked meat. You're done. You're finished. It's shelf-stable. It's good to go. You'll still find, even though you've drained it, you're still going to get a little bit of fat on there from the meat when you can it after it cools. You're going to heat it up and cook it. It's really good. So that's another one that you can do. If you have any questions on your pressure canner, you can ask Kim at the extension office. Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, does the gold standard for pressure canning involve the variety that uses the weight, or is there some sort of electronic version that's just as reliable? Because I don't trust myself to go and make sure it's wiggling, every 45 minutes.
Oh, you'll hear it.
You know?
No, it goes. Oh, it's loud. It's loud. You cannot miss it. Your whole house will hear it. Nope, it's good.
Is there any other option for pressure canning, or is that's the one you should use, the one with the weight?
I have my dad's and my grandma's, so they're forever. I mean, once you have one, they're good. There was a question about using the flat cooktop because on the water bath it doesn't matter because boiling is boiling, and it's going to keep the water boiling even when the little element goes off and on. Your water doesn't stop boiling. The pressure canning one, you really need to be there to pay attention to it to make sure it doesn't stop making the sound. Oh, it's loud. You won't miss it. A way to get through that is if you have a barbecue or you have a propane stove, put it out in the garage. Put it outside. It's just too darn hot to can in your kitchen. I just have a 2-burner propane stove, and I just set it outside, and I put the pressure canner outside on the patio. It does its thing, and it's cooler, and it's not in my house, but I can still hear it, and I know when it's going off and time it. So, and then you've just got, make sure you have an extra pressure propane tank around because it has you don't want to get partway through and it not work. So, yeah, make sure you have enough propane to get the thing going. But it was really good. It works outside. I did a lot of it out on my patio, and it was just great to just do it out there. So.
Do you know what brand you have, or what is the name of the pressure canner that you have?
No, I don't know. My dad's has the gauge and the weights. It has both. So you can see where it is, but the weights, okay, it's a little thing with a couple rings on top of it because 5 pounds is one little ring on it is 10 and one other ring is 15. You're just gonna use use your mitt for your oven when you put that on because steam burns. So yeah, just you put that on really quick and be really safe. But the other one I have is just the weights, and you can hear it a lot. And err on the side of, well, was it shaken quite enough? I'll do it another 10 minutes. You're good.
I can look it up and see what's out there.
Oh, you can hear it. Oh yeah, I don't know the brands, but yeah.
And do y'all do any on-site, hands-on training for any of these things so we can actually kind of just go in and just do a thing and make sure that we have
I'm
the
just
right
me
person?
from my house, so you'd have to ask the Master Gardener people. They're thinking about it.
We have been trying to get Kim at the extension office to do an official program on several different topics. Please call the extension office and pester Kim and say we're interested. The more interest that we can get shown that we want something, the better the chance you'll actually do it.
Okay. Thank you.
So, just so,
Yeah.
silly enough, but if you're using a 2-burner propane outside,
Uh-huh.
is there any temperature that you can or cannot cook in, like when it's over 100 degrees or when it's in the 30s? Outside temperature, I mean? I guess
No.
it's clarifying.
Boiling is boiling, canning is canning. It's the heat underneath of it's going to go. I guess if it was minus whatever and the wind was blowing, it's going to blow your propane flame off of it. But normal stuff, no. It gets really hot in your house when you do that because it's on for a very, very, very long time. So it's just nicer outside, unless you do it in the winter. I mean, you can freeze stuff and then just buy stuff buy your meat when it goes on sale on holidays. can it. Make a big old pot of chicken chili and, and make that and then just start and can it up. I mean, I have lots of jars of that and beef stew. And like if you're canning beef stew, you're just putting in chunks of meat, chunks of potato, chunks of carrot, and I used a beef broth and, like I said, quarter teaspoon of salt for the pints. And you can just process it. Now you have food, like a can of soup that you bought at the store, but you did it and you know what's in it. So, and I have done wild pork and store-bought pork. So from, the lovely creatures that walk around the property and tear stuff out. So they have no fat on them. So when you can store-bought pork, you're going to get a lot of fat at the top of it. The wild pork, there's none. So when you cook it up, you're going to want to add something to it because it's very lean. There's not much to it. So.
Is that often the way it happens? You see something off in the distance and say, oh, that big can right there.
You could, and just say, I'm going to take the back strap and the hams and the coyotes get the rest. You're good to go. They're worth it. Yeah, but only a fresh one if you did it. So.
When you make, do you drain the juice?
What juice?
Like from the meat, as you said, do you drain it before you put stuff with it?
To drain what?
The fat.
Oh, the fat. When you're doing hamburger, you're going to drain the fat off of it because you don't want that. You don't need that in your burger meat.
Yeah.
So you're just going to drain the fat off of it. I just save a soup can and put it in that and toss it.
Okay.
So yeah. So fermentation is another one. Unless you have any more pressure canning ones at the moment. Okay. So fermenting stuff is. It takes a while to do it. So sauerkraut is one of them. I didn't know I liked sauerkraut until I had fresh. I thought it was disgusting in the can. Fresh stuff is really good. And it's just taking the cabbage, you slice it really thin, a little bit of salt, mix it up, get some liquid, put it in a jar. You're going to do something to weight it down and put it in a cupboard for like 3 weeks. And I just put a cheesecloth over the top of it so it could breathe. And yeah, it's good stuff. And once you like the flavor, then put it in the fridge to stop that process. It's very good. So you can do that with different foods. Besides with the cabbage, for the sauerkraut, there's kimchi, which I've not made and eaten, so I can't tell you how to do it, but that's another fermented one that you can do. You just need to make sure that you weight everything down under the liquid. What I had done is put a baggie with water in it and then push that down in there under the lid, and that the weight of that kept the stuff from floating up to the top, so it kept it in the liquid. So that's a way to hold it down underneath the liquid. Pickling stuff is another good way to do stuff. I like bread and butter pickles, and I make mine out of zucchini. It is the best. Cucumbers are watery and smaller size than your zucchini's longer, and you can get a lot more pickles out of it. And then if you end up with like one of those baseball bat sized zucchinis, if you use a wide mouth canning jar, you make the best pickles that go on your hamburger. They're the whole size of a burger. And the zucchini's meatier and it's not as seedy, so nobody will know unless you see the outside and you see the skin. Nobody will know the difference. And I've had some 2 or 3 years and they're still crispy and good. Yeah.
Sorry, I had a question about fermenting.
Yeah.
The liquid, I need to go back and review that. Is it just salt and water? What's the liquid that you use for?
The first one that I did with the sauerkraut, but when you squeeze the your sauerkraut, the cabbage that you did, and with the salt, it's going to draw the liquid out of the cabbage itself, and that's actually making a liquid. So it's going to pull that out of it. Like the same as like if you do like fruit and you put sugar on it, you stir it up, you end up with a sweet juice. It just kind of pulls out the liquids out of stuff. If there's not quite enough liquid, put a little bit of water in there so the kraut itself, the cabbage is covered with liquid, so that it'll ferment that way, and it's really good. And you can put different seasonings in it. If you like caraway, if you want a garlic sauerkraut, or you want a whatever lemon kraut, whatever you want, it's yours. It's just a fermentation process that how you do it. So it's another way to process stuff.
If you add water to it, is there any type of water? Like, do you need to use distilled water or just straight from the tap?
I didn't. I just used tap water, but you're using so little.
Okay.
It's really not that much, because if you really squeeze the crap to get it in there, and the old ones, they would use the Crocs, the heavy duty ones, and they would just jam it. There's actually like just a piece of wood, a dowel, kind of big fat, and that was what they would jam it in there to break it up, to get it thin, to get it really pressed down in there. You can watch old school stuff for hundreds of years. That's how they did them in the big crots, and the big. If you got like a 2-gallon crock or a 1-gallon one, the big ceramic ones, you could actually buy, and it looked like a disc that was actually made of ceramic, and that would sit on top of the food to hold it down. So,
I think Ball or some companies started making those glass.
okay, to hold it down, yeah.
Kind of hold it down.
Yeah. So that's just keeping it down underneath the liquid for the fermentation process. So, yeah, it's really good. The pickles, really good. So you're doing that with the vinegar. You're putting vinegar. When you do the vinegar, make sure it's 5% acidity. Some of the stuff they're selling in the stores is not 5%. Make sure that you look at the bottle when you get it to make sure that it's got 5% acidity. It matters. They're starting to do like 3.5 or something. Just find another brand. So get the stuff that's going to work.
HEB has 9% acidity.
The what?
HEB has 9%
Oh, wow.
acidity.
Oh, my goodness. You only need 5, but you know,
I know.
Dave, that'd be amazing. Wow. Okay, so you can do, the acid in the vinegar is actually preventing any bacteria and stuff in there. So you can do dill pickles and bread and butter pickles, dilly beans, dilled onions, pickled eggs. If you have too many chicken eggs again. So just boil them and you just make a brine, and whatever seasonings, there's a lot of different kinds. You can make it spicy. I know people who like spicy ones, so I will specifically go get a bunch of jalapenos and hot peppers and put it down in there with a jar, and then just put your hard-boiled eggs in there. It takes about 3 weeks for the flavor to get all the way inside of them, but great gift for people if that's what they like, but know that you need a few weeks to get all the juices through it. You can do pickled carrots, sweet pickles, pickled asparagus, cauliflower, beets. So pickled beets, the same thing. You're going to get a recipe for that, and then you can can them. Also, relishes. You can make a zucchini relish, a cucumber relish, all of it's just pickled. If you want to try it easily, save your package, your dill pickles that you bought in the store, and drop a hard-boiled egg in there. You got a dilly egg. So you can do with what you have. The beets, if you like pickled beets, save the juice. Put a hard-boiled egg in there. Put in a canning jar and put your hard-boiled eggs in there. You have the prettiest pickled eggs that are all pink and all the way the juice, the coloring goes inside of them. They're very lovely and they're quite good. So you can do that with pickling. So lots of vegetables you can do that with. So the Ball canning cookbooks are updated all the time. I was fortunate enough 10 some years ago, I was in Oregon and they had a master food preserver program. Texas doesn't have it. I called and asked them, and they didn't when I asked like 7 years ago. I'd love them if they did. I took off every Thursday from work for 8 weeks, and I took the course, and that's where I did all of these things. It was amazing, and everything is studied. Oregon State University, Washington, I think Georgia, there's a lot of universities that have extension programs. And through that, they do food preservation. So you can get a bunch of recipes and tested stuff from all of them if you want to look up them. So I don't know, they might have an online program. I'm not sure if they do, but I know they're trying to get stuff started. So hopefully if enough people call and talk to Kim, we can get stuff started, yeah.
I've started putting Kim as a contact in my phone. What's the best number I can put in there, and can we all get it and all have it? Because if we walk out of here, we may not actually, I was supposed to Kim, but I forgot. But if everybody puts it in their phone.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely. He's giving it to you right now.
Okay, the Taylor County Extension Office number is 325
Got it?
672-6048.
325-672-6048.
Correct.
She's getting a call.
But that's great. I mean, I would love to help out with it. It's the same as the Master Gardener program. If you don't go all the time, you can't call yourself a Master Gardener because you're still not keeping up on your stuff. Since I've moved, I'm not there, so I can't call myself that anymore. But I have all the knowledge and I know, and I would love to help out if they're doing classes or things, and it's just so much information. I just love.
Request Denise Roberts.
Oh, I already know Kim, and I know all of them. So yeah, no, they knew who I am. That's fine. But I hope you all get to canning and like it, and you want to give it a try. Any kind of food preservation stuff. Pressure canning. I think everybody's heard the stories. It's like, oh my gosh, it blew up. I can't do it in my house. Then don't do it in your house. Do it on your patio. Get to where you're comfortable with it. The first time I did it, it was on the patio because I heard the stories too. I was like, I'm not going to do this. So I did it out on the patio. I was like, well, this wasn't bad. This was easy. So now I do it in the house. But you have to get past your own comfort. You have to find your place where you're comfortable. And if you just try dehydrating a few things and you really like it, go for it. Try more. There's whole books. We did a class on dinners. Like I said, I made a vegetable lasagna and dehydrated it, and then you just added warm water and you have dinner. It's great for camping, hiking, whatever storage things that you want to do. There's a lot of things you can do and dehydrate because you can. It's nice for storage and it's there and it's quick and easy. And canning is great. I think I had some chicken chili the other night for dinner. I just pop them in a jar and I did it. I know what's in it. So you can make your favorite recipe and just try pressure canning and yeah, try the ones and be safe. But yeah, if you wanted to start with water bath, try some of those. And yeah, as far as somebody asked about a place to get a lot of vegetables, and somebody talked about, I think it's called the food truck. They're coming, they're on Facebook, and they're coming, is it the 29th, 28th? You guys look them up. Yeah.
Vegetables coming out their ears.
And-
Holly has a farmer's market starting tomorrow, and they're doing it every other week at the Turbos.
Right at the turbos,
So,
yeah.
we have a lady
Yeah.
for that.
And another thing you can dehydrate is pineapple. Oh my gosh, the best. Go to H-E-B, buy the number 10 can, just get the whole darn thing. So much easier. They're big chunks, cut them in half, but then dry them as like candy. The best Christmas presents ever because you made them for people and like you give them a little jar of, something that you did. They are so good. So you can do that.
Do you have a recommendation on a food dehydrator?
No, because I've had mine for 40 years and I don't think they make
Okay.
them anymore. She asked if a recommendation on a food dehydrator. All it needs is warm air. So literally your front porch is fine because, oh wait, it's really hot. So you can, put something in the screen, cover it, put little covers over it, stuff will dry outside. You can do however you want to. I don't. You can probably just, little round ones that are nothing probably at the Goodwill. They might have
Yeah.
people who don't use them anymore, but it's just warm air. I mean, you can spend $300, sure, but yeah.
For like, what would be your best recommendation on preserving asparagus, tomato, zucchini, okra, squash, pumpkin? Like a lot of especially the zucchini, squash, and pumpkin.
So like I said, pumpkin you can't smush and package and do, but you can do chunks and save that. Depends on your purpose of what you're going to do later with it. You can, there's old pictures of people just slicing them and then hanging them on a rope and deep drying it and then just rehydrating it to use it. I don't know what you're going to do with it when you're done with it. I don't know, pumpkin pies, whatever you want to do with it. So, and you can freeze it. You can cook it and freeze it, or freeze it that way and then cook it when you're done. So if you have freezer space, but you can pressure can it in cubes to use it later. Asparagus, if you like it pickled, you could do pickled asparagus, but you could probably just like blanch it and then hot water, boiling water, take it out, ice water to stop that, and then put it on a cookie sheet to freeze it, and then try it that way. I've never had so much that I had to do that with it. Okra, you can slice it up and just put it in bags and put it in the freezer if you're going to put it in soups. If you're going to try to fry it later, I would probably do them individually, like freeze them on a cookie sheet and then put them in so that they wouldn't be a blob and you could take them out and do them later. I don't know what you're going to do with them after. Okay. Okay. So, I mean, if you do them in soups, you could do that with it because it'll thicken them up real nice.
Freezing would probably be the best for all of them if you don't have an intended purpose yet. That way you can just reuse them later.
To what with it? Freeze them?
Probably freeze them, that if you don't have a set
Yeah.
purpose.
If you don't know what you're going to do with them and you don't want to can them and you have a freezer space, yes. But when you can them, they're completely cooked. So they're ready to eat right when you take them out. So, but the asparagus too, it's going to have to be like in the jar and up and down really, they'll look really cute. So, but yeah. Yeah.
So to add on to that, so for okra, I go ahead and slice mine up, so wash them, slice them up, put them in a big bowl, and I actually put a lot of salt on them, and then I microwave them for a little bit, and let them get really gooey. And then I add my cornmeal mix and bread them, and then I put them on a cookie sheet.
Oh,
So
okay.
you still have the little slices like you get at a restaurant, but they're breaded, just that extra goo helps the breading stick to it. And then once it flash freezes, then I can put it into a vacuum seal bag and put it in the freezer, keep it in the freezer. So you just take out
There you go.
whatever your portion is.
Oh, very good. I've not done that. I haven't had a lot of okra, so yeah.
I have a question it's related to preservation, but it's a topic we haven't talked about yet. Do you have any experience with freeze drying?
I don't have a freeze dryer. They're like super expensive. And I can just dry it, so I have not.
Okay.
I just don't. If you had a lot of people that you had to do something for, a large family, and something would make it easier, yeah, but I can do it all with canning and dehydrating, so it's cost prohibitive and flavor's not that, I don't like the texture, so just personal preference. I mean, if that's something you want to do and you have enough volume of stuff that would make it worthwhile, then absolutely. But I've not done one and I don't know how I've never tried one. But yeah. Anything else? You guys ready to go home and start canning stuff and preserving stuff? Yeah.
That's what we call Kim.
Yes, call Kim. Yes, you can dehydrate mushrooms. One of my favorites, what is it called? Townsend and Sons. You ever watch him? He does 1820s food preservation, cooking, everything. Oh my gosh, he cooks amazing stuff. But ketchup was never made. It was not actually. Have you watched that video?
I've watched a lot of this stuff.
Okay, he makes mushroom ketchup. And ketchup wasn't actually made from tomatoes. We just think it is now, but it didn't always that way. But it has this yummy mushroom stuff. And then once I made the liquid, I dehydrated all of the mushroom and the seasoning stuff. Oh my gosh, the best seasoning to put on stuff. Yes, you can dehydrate mushrooms. So yes, all kinds of things, whatever you want to save and dehydrate. It's amazing. So much fun to do. Well, thank you all. Yeah?
The name of the person that you said that we watched with the mushrooms and ketchup,
Yeah.
the name.
Townsend and Son, Townsson and Son. So he does all really early American stuff. Cooking on the fire, old stuff, potable soup, everything. He'll show you how to make it originally, the old stuff. And he's got great old recipes and dehydrating things. So yeah, I like making his stuff too, just because it's different and fun stuff for camping. Yeah. Well, thank you all. I appreciate it. Happy canning.
Definitely want to thank Denise for coming here. It's a lot of really good information. I just want to remind you on a couple upcoming things from
cookbook, she has the perfect mashed potatoes recipe. She even says in there, I can freeze this. So I freeze it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, but
Oh, that'd
just
be
know if you're
nice.
making it, you have to completely thaw it and then put it in the oven to get it hot. It does not work to try to heat it up frozen.
You tried that, have you?
Well, yeah, try everything once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can freeze it.
How are you deciding which method to use with which food? Because you,
What's not on my shelf and what do I want?
but I mean,
No,
why?
that's why. That's how I decide.
But if you're starting from nothing, why would I pick freezing over dehydrating over?
Do you have the freezer space? If you don't, well then you're not using a freezer. It's your life. I had more room to store dry food. I only had one freezer with 5 of us, and it was already full of other things. So I didn't have a lot of freezer space. So canning and dehydrating, I had a big pantry where I could put dry, the canning jars with dehydrated food in it, with dehydrated fruit, with fruit leather, with stuff like that that the kids would eat. So that's what I did because that's what I had space for. If you have lots of freezer space, do that. If you like jams and jellies and you want to eat a lot of it, make those. I'll go through 1 jar of jelly in 3 months now. So it doesn't make sense for me to do that. I used to make a lot of it with more people at home. So it just depends, it's your life. It's how you work for you. So if you have a dehydrator and you like dehydrated food and you want to try it, if you want to try the water bath canning, it's fun to try it. And I don't know, does anybody have like, I'm sure somebody has like a pan you could borrow, like if you want to just borrow somebody's canner, big water bath canner. Like, here, try this. I'm not using it all winter, you might as well. Give it a try before you buy one, if you don't think you like it. I only buy the ball or the curl flats. Only because I bought the cheapy ones once, and my goodness, I had a lot fail. And it was not worth it, because now I have stuff that's just in the fridge because I can't, or I have to recan it all. So I buy the quality flats on purpose. And then the rings, you'll have a lot of them. So, you know, if you take a ribbon and you tie a knot, you tie one at the bottom, they all hang on this ribbon and they hang up in the cupboard. And they're easy and they're out of the way. That's where all mine are at. Yeah, all those rings that you can't attach to your jars that are everywhere. So yeah, they're all hanging out of the way. It works good.
Have you tried the Azure, lids? I think it's yours pronounced Azure.
The brand?
Azure. Have you tried their canning lids?
No, I have not. Like I said, I've only tried those 2, the ball and the curve, because I still have some because I went a little crazy and bought a lot. And I don't can a lot anymore, so I still have lots of flats. I won't, but I've not tried them.
I know they come up from Oregon or Washington. Is their main?
That company, I think they do, is it an organic food company? Yeah, okay, I've heard of them. There was a shop here that used to sell their stuff.
Yeah, their wheat beers is what very popular with them. They also provide canning stuff, so I didn't know.
I've not tried them. Have you tried them? Yeah. I guess if somebody tries them, you can all let people know, but I've not tried them, so I don't know. I bought the Walmart brand and it was not pretty, so I stopped. And I only use, so now those that I still have left are only used for dry goods in my cupboards that don't care. And it works.
For your dehydrated fruits, vegetables that you have in jars, do you use an oxygen absorber or do you use anything? You just dehydrate and throw it in?
Yep. Been there forever. Like, really, from 13. Yeah, they've been there a long time. So, yes. And they're fine and because of the rubber seal, they're still fine and still crunchy and yeah, they're still really good. Like I said, I just used some raisins this morning. So, yeah, they're really good. So if you end up with a lot of like nice grapes, you can even use the giant ones, but I would cut them in half because boy, would they take forever to dry. But if you get a lot of grapes from the stores, you can make your own raisins, and they're really yummy, because you know what you put on them. They're very good. If you want to try that. So, yeah, if you ever get someplace that has a lot of extra stuff, try that. They're really good. Dried peaches, dried nectarines. I take the skins off because I don't like the skin on them, but blanch them, peel the skin off your peaches and stuff, and slice them up, dehydrate them. Oh, delicious. Banana chips, all that stuff makes great Christmas gifts. Just put a little cute ribbon on it. And it's like, hey, here, I made you dehydrated stuff. Yes?
The pineapple, if you dehydrate it, does that absorb the sugar more into the fruit, or is it gonna be?
It concentrates it. So the chunks are pretty thick, cut them in half. They're too thick. So they're about yay thick, so cut them in half, and then just set them on your dehydrator, and it concentrates the flavor. The same if you dehydrate a banana, a peach, whatever you're dehydrating, it's like concentrating that flavor in there.
Strawberries are amazing.
They're really, you've had the pineapple?
Strawberries.
Oh, strawberries. Oh,
Strawberries are amazing.
oh, that'd be good.
Y'all are aware of the fruit truck, right?
No.
Fruit truck is coming to Abilene June 13th.
Do you have to pre-order with them? You just show up?
You just show up within that half hour, they're gonna have peaches and blackberries this time. And it's like 20 pounds of peaches for $45 or $35.
It's worth it. Their strawberries were absolutely amazing.
Wow, okay.
And what is this called?
Fruit truck, the fruit truck.
Do you know where they're gonna be?
It's on Pine Street, right outside of Abilene. It's north of 20, just north of 20, on Pine Street. There's a lawn gas station.
Oh, yeah. They're in that parking lot?
They're in that parking lot, they're only there for a half hour, they only take cash or Venmo.
Okay.
And what date did you say this was?
June 13th.
June 13th.
Did you find them on, like, they have a Facebook page or you?
Yeah, it's
had
a
it on?
Facebook
Okay.
page, it's called the
Okay.
Fruit Truck.
I was gonna ask that question, where do you find fruit and stuff in bulk? You just buy what you want and bring
I can't tell you anything here. I've never found any. I don't know, but your food truck one's probably a really good one.
And they get it from like all states, right, or something, whatever.
Yeah, these are Georgia peaches that they're getting.
Wow.
They're gonna have apricots and what else?
Several too, but I don't know
Yeah,
where it's
that
from.
many. They're based out of South Dakota.
Oh my goodness, they just drive around and deliver food? That's
Yeah,
amazing.
they have different stops.
Wow.
I guess Bountiful Baskets,
Mhm.
if anyone hasn't heard of that, Bountiful Baskets is a way, and I think you get a pack, but then you can add on things as well. But you don't know the vegetables and fruit that you're getting, because one time I got 30-something limes, and I'm like, what do I do with 30-something limes? And I found a recipe for cucumber lime sorbet, and it was phenomenal.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yes, you don't know what you're gonna get.
Because you don't know.
So it's kind of like a food co-op thing where you buy into it and you get
Uh-huh.
baskets or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fun.
Okay. Fun.
Yeah, you picked up, was it one of the elementary schools
Mhm.
on the west side of Abilene?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
For those who don't know a thing about all of this, you said that you went to a school, and you were up in Oregon. Do they have anything like that in this area so that one can learn more about how to?
No. Oregon State University has a Master Food Preserver program. I took off every Thursday for 8 weeks from where I work, and I took the class. It was amazing. I'd never done all like the pressure canning meat, canning fish, doing stuff, dehydrated stuff. Salsa. Yeah, I don't like spicy food. Peach salsa. Oh my gosh. I make it all the time, and I bought store-bought peaches because I bought a big can. You would not be able to tell. Best recipe ever. Put on the scrambled eggs. Yep, I'm good. So, no, and as soon as I got here, I said, I called the university, and I asked them if they had a master food preserver program, and they said no, and they weren't planning on getting one. So I would love to. I told them I would be happy to help, but no, I'm sorry, they do not.
And what's the name of the company again? The class that you took in order, what's it called again?
Master Food Preserver. It's through the Oregon State University. They have a whole website with all of the things and the recipes and things that they've tested. Washington has one, Georgia has a big Master Food Preserver program. I don't know what other colleges and universities have. Do you know any that do? No. So I know those states do, but I don't know, but I did call the university here because I thought, why not? Why are you not teaching? There's so many people who want to know, and they didn't.
So A&M doesn't have one?
Huh?
A&M does not have one of these?
No. I mean, with the people that I call and talk to, they did not have any, and I've not been able to find anything about it. If you do, I'd love to help and be a part of it. But it was amazing. I was so grateful for the class, and I mean, it was intense. We had a notebook this big with all the pages, and there was a test at the end, and you know, so it's kind of like if you were a master gardener and you just did the class, but you don't come every time and just help out, you're not considered a master gardener anymore, even though you did. So it's the same with me. I took the class, but I'm not there to continuing education, so I can't say that I am one, but I took the class. So it was wonderful, and I wish they had something here. I really do.
Are you aware of any like online courses to help you get through the basics of it? Or?
No? What would you want to try?
I don't know anything about it, so therefore.
Well, right. I mean, I would start with just like get a dehydrator, and I give you like dried bananas, and go to the store and get bananas and dry them. Like, okay then. And then you can dry everything, and then you can put it in your soups, and you can put it on everything, and you can do your herbs and grind them up, and that's an easy one to start.
Yeah, the dehydrator is, yeah, that's simple. But if you want to get into the other cooking stuff.
The one bath is pretty simple.
Yeah, it is.
So,
The what now?
Water bath.
just a water bath canning.
Water bath can.
10 minutes.
Life Force does things for learning how to do that.
There's recipes. You can check, I don't know if the is it AgriLearn or AgriLife Learn?
It looks like OSU offers an online version of it.
OSU does?
Yeah.
Oh, there is an online
Oregon
version?
State, not
Oregon State
Oklahoma.
University? Okay, they have an online version?
It looks like there might be an online version of this of it.
Can you get certified?
I'm just kind of quickly looking, but they do have a master food.
But it's
preserver.
lots of great information. So
Those
between
online
them,
lectures.
Washington, Georgia has one too. So you can look up the different universities. They might have something online. But it's just, like I said, necessity made it. I mean, where I lived, there was a program where we went to the fields and we actually picked, and then you shared that with everybody. But it was a big program that I was with. And then, so it was lots of food. It was ridiculous amount of food. So, what do I do with 12 cases of apples? I had a lot of applesauce. It was really good. And apple pie filling and dried apples. And, you do what you do with what you get. But it was just because of where I was at the time, I was able to do that. But, if you like to have jelly, make a jelly. Make chutneys, make a relish, make a pickle relish that you like. Try something simple like that if you like that kind of stuff.
There's also freezer jam that you can make too. So, I mean, I don't remember the whole process, but instead of water bath canning, you just stick it in the freezer, and that's if you have the freezer space. But that's really good as well, so.
But honestly, couldn't you just make the jelly and put it in jars and stick it in the fridge?
You could, yeah, if you wanted, yeah.
Yeah.
But usually if you have bulk, then you're gonna have multiple jars, so.
Yeah, so they're not sealed and shelf stable, but you can try it, and just see if you like it, and try it out. But I'm glad you looked up an online version, see if there's something kind
It
of.
looks like there's part, yeah, there might be some.
Yes, okay, I've never canned, any kind of meats before.
Ah,
Because I've always been told that you didn't do that, it was not safe. So if you do can it, you cook it first and then put it in the jars, or you put it raw and it
So the hamburger, you cook it just because it's too dense. It's kind of like the mashed potatoes or the pumpkin puree. You can't get it hot enough inside. So you're gonna cook the burger. I raw pack the chicken, raw pack the pork, raw pack the beef, the venison, the elk. You just take chunks of meat, no liquid. You just jam that meat down in there. That's it. You didn't add any liquid. Put the lid on it, pressure can it. You can't water bath it. So 75 minutes for the pints, 95 for a quart. Makes its own liquid in there. It's sealed, tender, delicious. I think I put a quarter of a teaspoon of salt in the pints and a half a teaspoon of salt in the quarts. That's it. You raw pack it.
So do you get big chunks of meat and just stick it in there, or do you cube it like, stew or something?
I put a whole chicken leg in, a whole thigh, whole everything, just jammed them in there.
With a bone and everything?
Huh?
With a bone?
Oh, heck yeah.
Really?
And it's so tender, it just falls off. You know when you cook something forever and you try to pick it up and all the bones just fall off? That's what you just did. It's in a jar though, shelf stable. You can open it and just eat it. My daughter
neighbor
can't,
who did
can't
that
wait.
with,
She puts it in the fridge anyway.
Can you water bath meat if it's cooked first? No? Okay.
It's still got fat in it, even though I drained off all the fat. So on the hamburger meat, I cooked it, drained off all the fat, just jammed the meat in as tight as I could get it, then I put beef broth over it, just so the headspace was in there, just a little bit of liquid. And then processed that. The jars still have a little bit of fat in there, so you can't water it. It doesn't have an acid content in it, you just don't.
I was gonna say to your question about beef. I'm from Nebraska, I raised beef for a living most of my life as a child. I had a neighbor, she raised dairy beef. She had a dairy beef that she slaughtered her meat. If you know anything about meat, dairy meat is not meant to be.
It's lean. It's
not
fine.
farm beef,
It's lean.
Yeah, it's very lean,
Very
it's very
Very
stringy
Tough.
and tough, yes.
Well, the cows are, yeah.
She canned that as and I mean cubes. And that stuff fell apart, fork tender, and just, you just touch it with a spoon or a fork, and it was lovely. Makes its own gravy, everything, but you have to pressure can it.
Yeah.
Also with pork, you do that with pork?
Yeah, you do it with any meat, so you
Oh
gotta
yeah,
pressure
I did it with wild pig. We had wild hog that we processed, and just took the hams and backstrap off of it because it was being annoying in my front yard. So it was removed and canned it. It doesn't have any fat in it though. Yeah, but if you if you can a wild hog and then store-bought pork, the store-bought one's got lots of fat in it. The wild one, there's no fat in it. They don't have any fat on them. So they're one of the wild that eat acorns. They got not much on them.
Okay, because we have butchered hogs, this is, home farm.
Yeah, no, it's gonna have a lot of fat in it. Yeah, just raw pack it. Just put chunks of meat in there and put the lid on it and pressure can it. In the pints, you're gonna do 75 and 95 and 40. It's really good.
Because the javelinas, the wild hogs, they don't have that much fat. But if you raise your own hogs, they do have a lot of fat in it.
Oh, they will. Yeah, no, it'll be
Would it
delicious.
still be okay to do that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
It'll
it'll be.
basically be a lot of lard or.
Like, I would trim it down as much as you
Well,
can,
yeah,
but.
you're gonna trim it.
Trim the visible fat.
Yeah, you're just gonna.
But if
put
it's
meat in
marble,
there.
that's what we did with all of our meat when we canned, my mom canned it, I did not at that time, I was too little. But if we canned meat, yeah, you cut off everything that was big chunks, you buy a steak, the sort you can rip some of the fat off, get rid of that. The beautiful marbling, leave that, that's the good flavor. But, in the same way with pork, if you see a little bit in it, yeah. But if there's a big old chunk that you can rip off or slice off, take it out and just put it in the can.
Yeah, you can probably find some videos on YouTube and stuff on people just raw packing. It's just raw. You put the raw meat in, and you're cooking the heck out of it, and it will just fall off the bone, and the meat It's so tender, it's really good. And mine, like I said, I put a quarter teaspoon of salt in the pints and a half teaspoon in the quarts. But that's it, there's no other seasoning. Some people, when they do their hamburger, make it like a taco seasoning or whatever and put it in there so it's done, but then you can't use it for anything else. So I would only do just straight hamburger, and then if you wanna season it when you're done, you can make it into your spaghetti sauce, or you can put it, make it for tacos, or whatever you wanna use it for, and then add your seasoning later.
Okay, another question. When, I can't remember which one it is, I haven't used it yet. You know how they have those rings? You put I can't remember if it was for the water bag or the pressure canning. You can put a layer of jars, and then you have this little extra
Correct.
lid, and you
Yeah.
can put them on top. Have you used that before? And if so, did you use it on both, the canning and the water bag and the pressure canner, or the?
I do it on my pressure canner because it takes so darn long to do. So I can get 6, 7, 8 on the bottom, and then I can do 8 on top. So I can do 16 pints in there. I can't double the quarts because mine's not that deep, but I can do 2 layers of pint jars in there. Yeah.
So better to use it on the pressure.
And I've not done it in the water bath only because it's only 10 minutes. And by the time 10 minutes is up, I take those out and drop some new ones in and bring it back to a boil. So it's not been a big deal, but definitely with pressure canner, I have stuff.
So won't that if you put it right on top of the other lids, it's going to stay secure, it's not going to be rattling or anything, making it?
It's too heavy. By the time you put 8 jars on top of that, it doesn't. I've not had an issue. Occasionally when you're water bathing, one jar's gonna break. It's just gonna happen, and you pick it up, and if it falls out, dump some in there, and you'll be sad.
Yes.
But it happens to all of us, so it's just part of the process. It had some little thing that got bumped at some time, and a little hairline fracture you didn't see, and it just goes. It happens. Yeah.
Maybe don't mess with your jars when they're still hot. We tried to do strawberry jam, we never done jam. What was it? Oh, we didn't know what we were doing really, and so we didn't pack them. We didn't even think about packing the strawberries. You know, we just put what would fit in there, and so the strawberries it sort of floated up where it was all strawberry, and then the bottom was more liquid. And I said, oh, it's all right, just turn the jar upside down, and then they'll float to the bottom. Well, it had already it sealed, but when we turned it upside down, the whole thing just oops. Yeah. So I went in the refrigerator. It's pretty good, but it's like taffy now.
Okay.
But just as suggested not to turn the jars upside down, even though it seals until it's cold.
At least don't take the
good to
wings
know.
off.
Okay, we'll do that.
Don't take the wings off until it's cool.
Yeah, wait till they're cool in the morning, the next day before you
Yeah.
take the rings off. Just let them sit, cool down, everybody's gonna seal, then the rings will come off easy, then just wash them off and then hang them up because you're not gonna use them again. Just wipe everything down because like it or not, they're gonna be sticky, so.
That was the issue, because we took the wings off.
Yeah, give it a moment to cool down and everybody to seal it nice and tight. So. Well, thank you, everybody, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I want to thank you all for coming. Just a reminder